A World to Encompass the Morning by Lauren K. Burridge. Read by Avery. Far across flat country, so flat it seems you could shoot an arrow from one corner and it'd fly unobstructed to the other. The city lies swathed in low purple clouds, pressed a thumb's width above the horizon to the sky. The skyscrapers are still invisible. It's 6 o'clock, and that time in spring when their only visual presence is the same signal that is used to keep the planes from cruising too low. Red and royal blue lights blinking at intervals through the purple cloud. On opposite sides of the freeway, the neon signs of twin truck stops, bathed in light. Petrol stations, convenience stores act as mirrors. The same image reversed on an alternate surface. 2, because whichever way you are going, it's impossible to turn back, and it's important to be comfortable and well supplied. Midnight lingers heavily in the pre-dawn shimmer, and from a contented seat on the bus, you can feel the suburbs wake up as the city drifts closer. Breaks in the gum offer snippets of the place cloaked in warm air, though it is 10 degrees outside, and there are 2 lines of glowing lamps stationed along the driveway of an old folks' home. At this point, we don't need the street lights. They are pretty, but the cloudless dome above us glows a dusty blue. Now, as we turn to the first stop, realizing this trip on the bus that woke us this morning with a bitter taste will, at some point, end. We are flooded with the urge to stay, to keep the day at bay, to watch the night's remnants skip across the grass fields and red dust roads as if they were fleeing the sun. It is a comforting thought to grip the prickly seats and refuse to leave, even when the driver halts and threatens to throw you out. Like a child engulfed in their fantasies, you'd never want to leave. If dusk is erotic and maddening, then pre-dawn is enlightening. How can there be a light other than this? It comes with clarity and a false assurance that this bus trip will last forever, that there'll be no disembarking and no suffocating train to catch thereafter. That the tower stuck in the middle of the paddock to the west as you pass it, enclosed in a pyramid of cables, does not only reach a few hundred meters above the ground, but could continue on through the shadowy pool of sky if you wish, as if to tell you that nothing is limitless. In this atmosphere, in this world that encompasses the morning, fanciful thoughts like these, that the outer world exists to reflect some inner truth hidden within the human heart, are harmless and secured tightly enough to be entertained. As the low clouds turn pink, the day seems gross and cheating. But while there is still shadow in some corners of the streets, we will stay to memorize the calm and the feeling of the bus rolling beneath us, moving somewhere, moving to our goal, our destination. And maybe we can take a little of that feeling with us when we disembark. But the imaginative mind, careless and content, creates another space in this world, creates another meaning for it, like peeling over the covers of a book and sliding an extra page inside, another layer of meaning. When that meaning clings to memory in the minds that it can, the feeling of the rolling bus follows us throughout the day. At the train station, in the sudden rain, along the queues, it passes from the eyes of one person to another, delivering the same message of completeness and wonder. It passes on the point of perspective from commuter to commuter. The smell the rain brings, a crisper mix of the city, of footpaths and petrol fumes. It wakes in the morning with the arrival of the first city-bound train. As the first commuters land on the platform, toes forward, it condenses the breath in their chests. It marks their yawns with puffs of cloudy air. It follows them up the stairs leading from the subway, those stamped with footprints going each way, growing wetter, getting darker, till of asphalt turn to rivers that await on the surface. The sound of tires scooting along the banks of the road which frighten torrents by the curb. They lash out and cloak walkers by in shivering droplets. In the city center, where the tallest things cluster against the rain, where slick black cars are packed side by side along the storefronts, where the homeless dwell on the corner because that's where the money is, we rush, slip through the crowd, push against it, to reach the other side of the block. From eye to eye we jump, from mind to mind we switch. We are late. Our mark of is consolation. Our socks and the bottom of our coat are wet. The push of our umbrella releases beneath the sheltering elms. Here we can choose a soul, choose to follow it, to trail it, to understand its purpose here in the city. We will latch onto the jacket of a young man as he moves with the crowd. His face is inclined slightly towards the ground as he walks. Why doesn't he venture away from the people? Chase that snappy figure prancing by the opening of an old-fashioned speakeasy. The sofas in the cellar bars are surely more comfortable than an office chair. And the woman by his left, brushing the hair from her eyes. Late again. Will she be jobless? Try not to dwindle on the sidewalk, honey. There's far more skilled people than you vying for this position. What if she stopped altogether and glanced up, saw the tall windows all around her like mirrors, saw herself in them? Would she turn and plow backwards through the crowd, or simply sit down in the middle of the street and watch the procession herself? All is tangled within the racket of stamping feet. There's beauty here, certainly, if we pull our hands from our pockets and let them touch the bar. Beneath the concrete lies earth, the earth that we know of, which is familiar and not ours. The soil from which none of this sprang, on which colonial buildings squat elegantly, timelessly, charmingly. Where our boots are made and patented and worn, and eventually thrown away. Then comes the pat-pat-pat of velvet on wet concrete, of soft toes and the click-click of claws. A tiger comes toward us, stalks, catches a scent, pauses to nuzzle the bag of the chap huddled by the doorway of a shoe shop, and continues on. Raindrops are threaded along its whiskers, its fur hangs heavy and sodden. It moves from window to window, with little interest in what's behind them, only fixated by its own appearance. It is nearly colorless in its reflection. The eyes are sunken and dim, Yet in life, the tiger gives off an orange light, which springs from its fur to embrace the raindrops as they fall. The light dances from one drop to another, leaping higher, plummeting and rising, creating an orange halo wherever the beast chooses to wander. And it wanders close, to us, to the people, an apparition or a spirit, tangible yet not quite there. The crowd splits to allow it passage, but not a single eye falls upon its glowing coat. An apparition, yes, a spirit. The creature's own gaze it keeps level with its nose. The bright eyes turn to the windows and dormant streetlights, and here and there to a coat pocket stuffed with a handkerchief, or a shining watch clasped around the wrist. As if by accident, as it passes, while you watch the frightening figure prowl, it turns its head sluggishly to look right back at you. For a moment, as it moves behind one pedestrian to the next, its image warps. It becomes smaller, leaner, a scrawny orange dog, a dingo, as proud as before, then changes back to a tiger, filling out with muscle and stripes before he can draw another breath. Then it is gone. You have reached the end of the block, and the tiger has padded on past you. It melts into the sidewalk in swelling puddles and rain-streaked glass. The orange glow begins to fade. You return to the realm of the senses, the bleeping street crossing, of the slap of soggy newspaper. You taste the tang of spray-canned alleyways. From here, how can we wander? On office chairs or behind a shop counter? Where does the mind find its substance? Discover that meaning that was so clear to us in the morning. Our transition from bus to train, train to rain, has wearied us beyond description. And the beast's bright eyes, the memory of them, fix themselves in our minds at such a place that it almost feels like we are looking through them, seeing things anew. We see rock where once there was brick, carved and stacked. We see the roots of elms crawl upward, as if to sprout once again through the concrete and crack it from beneath. In the wet reflection on shop windows, we see ourselves, familiar and changed, altogether different from before. Umbrellas bloom around us like plastic flowers. It seems the rain will never cease. A lorry lends to us its shelter. We dry ourselves off, shake on the doormat, take off our coat. On comes marble floors and the soft quiet of a library. Here comes calls and carpet and closed doors. The morning and its clarity have escaped us, and now it is time to work.